we're recording.
Okay. My name's Chrissy Nelson, and this is my story about having a stroke and my aftercare. On the 6th of August this year, I went in for a brain biopsy at Wellington Hospital, which is something that they do all the time. And unfortunately for me, I had a bleed as a result of this. And so I went in a normal person and came out at the beginning of my stroke where I couldn't do anything for myself, and I was just lying in bed. I spent my first week at Wellington Hospital being treated, where the care was really good and the staff were excellent, and that's according to my family because I can't remember anything about it. And then I got transferred out to our rehab unit, which is in Keneperu. And this is where my journey really begins. So I went out to Kenepuru where we were told that I'd get extensive rehab. And this is something that most people seem to be told before they go out to Kenepuru. So it's not as if we're the only people that were ever told this. In fact, one of the consultants at Kenepuru, Mr. Retherall, tells his patients that they're going to get rehab. So when I got out there, I expected to get rehab, and this didn't happen. So, first of all, I'll talk about the cleaning of Keneperu. Keneperu Hospital is filthy. One of the things that happened was that there was vomit on the inside of one of the lift doors for 4 days, and it only got removed after one of my colleagues complained about it. The ward was always dirty, and this is Ward 7 at Keneperu. Even though the cleaner had more training after we complained about the state of the place, it was never properly cleaned. I was there for 7 weeks, and in 7 weeks the curtains around the beds and the shower curtains were never changed once, which is just a recipe for all sorts of horrible things. Especially the curtains around the bed. One of the curtains around the bed and one of the cubicles I had was covered in something, probably vomit. Anyway, so they were never changed. The beds, the cleaner would clean around things on the floor and not move them. What else? The tops of the over table where you had your meal and the top of your locker were never cleaned once by anybody. So when we complained about that, nothing really happened. They still weren't cleaned. And the state of the toilets was just terrible. Because the toilets are for everybody, so there's no male or female toilets, because the wards are the same. So if you're in a 4-bed cubicle, you can be in, they are mixed wards, so you have females and males in the same room. So often the toilets were awful, with vomit, with poo and stuff around them. And if you were in a state that, like I was in, where I couldn't do anything for myself, that meant that sometimes I had to sit on a toilet where there was poo on it. Because apart from one of the carers who was really good and cleaned the area, or if my family took me to the toilet and cleaned the area, they weren't routinely cleaned by the staff. In fact, I know that the staff was supposed to keep the toilets and areas clean, but that never used to happen. They were always dirty, and things would be in them, like there'd be a pair of trousers hanging in the toilet for 3 days and things like that. So it was really awful, and we complained about it, and the cleaner got more training, but now I've left there, I can tell you it'll be back to how it was before. If we went back there today, I'm sure that my happy birthday sign would still be stuck on the wall, because nothing's ever cleaned. Now when people go home, the bed that you're in is cleaned and new linens put on it, but the inside of the lockers and the wardrobe area are not cleaned, just the next lot of person's stuff goes in it. So it's a recipe for all kinds of things in regards to things like norovirus. So I was in a 4-bedded cubicle. They do have single cubicles, but they're usually for people who have got infectious diseases. So I was in a 4-bedded cubicle, and to start with I was in with 2 other ladies and a man. And this is my care. So to start with, I couldn't do anything for myself, and I had to be transferred using because I couldn't do anything for myself, using a form of what's that thing? I had a hoist, and so I was, and so I had a hoist to start with, and then I had a sort of thing that was for 2, where 2 people had to transport me, and as I got a little bit of use back in my leg and my arm, I was able to, by the end of my stay there, I was able to get myself to and from the toilet. So the care is, someone said to me, there is no care at Keneperu. She said there was a lack of care, and she's a senior nurse somewhere else, and that's what it was like. A couple of the aides were really good, so I've got nothing against the aides. Well, not these 2 in particular, they were really good. But most of the nurses, so the registered staff, they were either tired or in fact, most of them, to be honest, were just awful. They'd lost their passion for nursing. They didn't care about the patients. They came to work because it gave them a paycheck. And I just think that's really bad that there's people like that working in a place like rehab, when there's so many new students, new registered nurses who can't get work, who'd be fantastic in a place like this, because they'd be wanting the patients to get well and go home, and they'd make such a difference to your stay if there was happy, smiling people there, because there wasn't very much of that in Ward 7 at Keneperu. One of the RNs was actually okay, but she was still very just tired, and she was all right when she was your nurse, but most of the time she was like everyone else and didn't give a hoot really about the patients. The registered nurses, the only time you saw them was when you were having pills, or when they were taking your blood pressure, which they did twice a day, which they did absolutely all the time, and thought they were doing a good job. But apart from that, you never saw them, because they were always busy somewhere else, which meant most of the time they were sitting in their handover room bit of the ward, doing notes. And I need to talk to you about the notes, because my notes said, because I read them before I left, that every day for 7 weeks I ate and drank well. And I can't understand how they knew that, because no one ever came to see me to ask if I was eating and drinking well. And to be honest, because the food's so awful, there were days when I had nothing all day. So I don't know where they got that from, that I'd eaten and drunk well. I want to talk about one particular carer who, the times I had her was really horrible. First of all, there was a time when I first got there, and I needed to turn onto my side, and I couldn't do that to start with, and I rang the bell and asked if she'd turn me. She looked at me like I was a piece of shit on her shoe, and looked at me and then went away. And my friend, who is a senior nurse, was there and thought, God, why is she doing that? And then she came back and said, I think she went away to check that I really could not do anything for myself. So then she came back and she turned me with the help of my friend. But it was kind of reluctant, like, you should be helping more than you are kind of thing. And this was the same nurse, caregiver, who, when my catheter came adrift, which did a couple of times, and all my pants were all wet, I rang for her and she came, and I asked if she could change me. It wasn't my fault that my catheter came adrift. These things just happen sometimes. and she said, I can't change you now, I'm too busy, and left me. And I was left for about half an hour, and in the end someone else came and changed me. So you go into hospital with your dignity intact and you leave, or during the time in hospital you lose all your dignity, you don't have any at all, and you just think that you're just a piece of meat because that's how you're treated by the staff. So there was that time, and then another time she was down to shower me, and so another person took me to the toilet, because the shower and the toilet were together, and put me on the toilet and said, I'll make sure that she knows that she needs to change, take you off the toilet and put you in the shower. Anyway, I was on the toilet for a quarter of an hour, which is a long time when you haven't got much strength and you could easily topple off. And then that time I rang my bell 3 times. The first 2 times it was answered by other people who said, I'll go and get your nurse, and they went away and told her, well, I assume they told her, and anyway she never came. And then the last time she did come, and I said, why have you taken so long? And she said it was because she was busy elsewhere, and she stood me up and took me over to the shower and put it on for me because I couldn't do it myself. And I said, look, I'll start washing myself if you come back, because you know I wanted to be able to do these things myself. I didn't want to really have to have things done by someone else. So I washed myself, and unfortunately I couldn't get hold of the bell to ring to say that I was ready for her. And actually she should have known that and should have made sure that the bell was in reach, and she didn't come, and she didn't come, and she didn't come. Anyway, in the end I was on, I had a shower for about, it seemed like 45 minutes, and it had gone cold before she came back. So then she came back in and turned it off and dried me and said, oh sorry I was away so long, but you know, it was because she was busy. And so I was actually really cold and not feeling that good when she came back. And then she took me over to the basin so I could do my teeth, and left me again, and I was cleaning my teeth, and then I was waiting for her to come back, and in the end another lady came in who was from another ward, and who was there for the day, who was actually really nice because she wasn't from Ward 7, and she said, oh, I'm really sorry that you've been here so long, and took me back to my room. The 2 ladies in my room thought that something terrible had happened to me because I was away for so long, and they said I was away for longer than an hour. So that's just the kind of thing that happened at Keneperu. We made a complaint about that. We complained about that and some other things, and we asked that the charge nurse, or the associate charge nurse of Ward 7, do something about it. So her and the person who does their training, another nurse, were supposed to talk to this hospital aide and ask her why she did what she did, and they said that they'd give us some more training. That amazes me that they have to give these people more training. I mean, God, what the hell are they supposed to be doing? It's their job to look after us and look after us properly. Anyway, so we made a complaint about that and about the state of the place and things like that, and we met with the associate charge nurse first of all, and then we met with the nurse practitioner person who did the training. And I'll tell you what happened about that later on, but just to suffice to know that we did meet with them. So that was a couple of the things that happened.